Hey guys, this is Raf. I'm a game designer and game design teacher. Over the years, I have published 2 games. The first one is Co-op Decrypted, a co-op puzzle-based platformer where you control 2 friends robot with unique abilities trying to escape a deadly factory they got stuck in. My last release was C4, a physics-based puzzler where you play as Barrow, a not-so-much space engineer who is in charge of gathering raw data from the environment. Now, as you know, this devlog is not about these games, but about my newest game, which is Barista Simulator. Let's get right into it. Good afternoon, we are Tuesday, and I really want to work on this apron. At first, when I created this apron, it was just a test for me to see the physics in Unity and see if it was working. But I realize now that it's just a little bit bland and it's not nice, so I want to add a little bit more details to this apron. So I'm gonna start doing that. I just finished the apron, so this is the result in here. So it's not much, but at least it's breaking the uniformity that we had before. So what I did is, first of all, I went into my software, and so 3ds Max, and I rounded the corners a little bit without changing too much. And then I experimented with a bunch of stuff. I made a pocket that was part of a mesh, but then it caused some issues. So I stuck to generating just the pocket and the texture. So right now it doesn't exist there. It's really just in the texture. So what I did is I generated a normal map that you can see right here that you apply on a surface, and it's gonna fake some details as some sort of a bump map. And then I generated an AO pass, which is just light information to create some sort of shadows where the pocket would be and around it. And I will definitely iterate on that and create different variations in the future. This is just a first pass. And then I created a albedo, which is, I just used my ambient occlusion, so my occlusion map, to generate some like different tones, just so the pocket is always a little bit lighter and a different contrast here, depending on which color you pick, because we could go and choose any color of our choice here, because I only use white maps. And so you come here and you multiply the color on top, so you can see the pocket is always a little bit lighter. So I can go and probably later on I'm gonna add like sewing things around and other details, or I'm gonna make variations of aprons so people can choose, so players can choose in the game. But yeah, so for now I'm gonna leave it brown. And yeah, so that's the result. And as you can see, no problem with the cloth simulation, because it's just a texture, right? So there's no problem with that. As you can see, it follows very well. As you guys might not know, we're currently working on the interactable system so that we can interact with a bunch of objects in general, not just one specific object, but like all of the objects that are considered interactable. For that system, I mean, I've made an example for the kettle, so we knew like what kind of actions we were gonna need and stuff like that, but I haven't done all the other game objects that we're gonna need. I think that's what I want to do now when I work a little bit on my game design documents and my technical design documents, to make sure that when we tackle interactables that we know what we need and what we're gonna be implementing in the next few days. There's a bug in the game where the foot is sliding, or feet are sliding a little bit when you walk. And that's very frustrating to me right now. So I know it's not a top priority, but I really want the character to be smooth. So I will be doing this. So before I started fixing that, this is exactly what I had. So that was it's not really a bug, it's just a fine tuning that I want. So you notice his feet. When I go full speed, it's not that bad. So this is full speed. You can see it's not that bad. Obviously the animation kind of sucks. We're gonna tweak that. But when I was going lower speed, like here, you can see the character is definitely sliding. So what I did is I created a curve like that I can tweak when I don't touch the joystick, how fast do I want the animation to play, and when I fully touch the joystick, so I move full speed, how fast do I want the animation to play. And the beauty of this animation curve is I can go ahead and, you know, adapt that as I want. And so this is kind of the curve that I think is optimal. I can always go and fine tune this later, but you can see now when I go at this speed, my feet are sliding a little bit less. It's still not perfect, but I think it's just a little bit better. Definitely. Next thing I worked on was the UI for the interaction. So whenever we're gonna go and move over an object and interact with it, it would pop up the list of all possible interactions. So I worked on that UI in Unity and in Adobe Illustrator to make sure that it was prepared for integration in Unity. Talking about integration, an old friend of mine and an old student of mine proposed to contribute to the project as a programmer. He's now working as a programmer in the industry. So I assigned some tasks to him and he started. His name is Justin, and here's what he did this week.
So this week I was working on interactables. So for the different objects that are going to be present in the game, we wanted to have them have different input actions for different contexts that they're in. For example, for the kettle, when you're on the counter, you have certain actions. When the kettle's in the player's hands, you have certain actions, so on and so forth. So to implement this, what we did is we started off with a and then that's it. So the way we did this is by implementing a kind of dumbed down state pattern with scriptable objects. There are going to be different input actions that the object can receive. So for example, the cup in its held state can be dropped or thrown. And if it's highlighted, it can be picked up, inspected, moved. So then we define the actual actions inside each state and what kind of inputs they take. So if, for example, we have some that are tap or hold, you could set how long we can hold it for. So here you see the cup just has one action in its highlighted state. And then once I pick it up, it has two different actions when it changed states. And I put it down again, it has the one state. And here the kettle actually starts out with three different actions in its highlighted state. And then when I pick it up, it again has those two kind of default actions for when you're holding an object.
This system is going to be incredibly useful. We're going to be able to start placing interactables in the near future, in the next sprints and whatnot. That's going to be amazing. What you see me doing now, sped up, is my final task for the week for the vlog, which was to code the basic of online functionalities, because the game I want it to be online, so you can play with a friend as co-op in your cafe. And so I started implementing the online features just to be able to move around and see a friend. I wanted to be able to create a game and join a game. I wanted to be able to just sync movements and see the other barista moving with the animations. So obviously we have a lot of stuff to do regarding the networking and online, but we're gonna go slowly, but making sure that online is possible. But yeah, so you can do the usual stuff. And then whenever you want to connect, you go here. And now you can see there's nothing that you can really notice, but I'm online now. So this is my online player. And this guy is still offline, so you could be playing and then boop, then we're both on the same room. So you can see I can move around, and if I change games, so now I will play with this one, it's the same thing. So now I'm playing here. Alright guys, I'm gonna end it here because the vlog is getting long. Remember, you can support on Patreon. Talking about Patreon, we have one Patreon, so thank you to Simon Péloquin for supporting the project on Patreon. Remember, on Patreon, you can get access to the build of the game, so what you saw here today, and you also get access to Discord perks, so you have quicker access and you can talk to us in private channels. You can also just support on Twitter, and you can join the Discord at any time. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next vlog.